One of the most common questions I get from clients who are considering moving to Halifax is, what's it actually like to live in Halifax? People move here expecting ocean views, fresh air, and a slower pace of life. And they get that, but there are a few things that people are surprised by when they actually move here. If you're thinking of moving to Halifax, or maybe you just arrived, here are some realities and some benefits of living life in Halifax. If you're new here, I'm James, Realtor and Managing Director of the agency Halifax, so let's dive in. Let's start with weather, because this one actually surprises a lot of people. Halifax is actually pretty mild. We are in Canada, but we're on the coast and one of the more southern provinces, and we actually have pretty mild winters and pretty mild summers. We don't get near as much snow as we used to. When I was a kid, I remember huge snowbanks that I would play in all the time, and we really don't get that anymore. Like, we do get snow, but it's usually just a couple snowfalls a year, and often everything thaws in between them. And then in the summer, it does get warm, but it's not blistering hot. The summer is a little different because we have so much humidity, and that does add to the stickiness. So when you walk outside, it's not hot, but you're gonna be soaking wet from the humidity, so prepare for that. One thing that people actually love about Halifax is you're so close to the ocean. And actually anywhere in Nova Scotia, you're never more than 40 minutes away from the ocean. And on top of that, we have so many great lakes. So between ocean and lakes, you're by the water all the time. And we really do live by that. Our license plate actually says Canada's Ocean Playground. Fun fact, Nova Scotia has a really big surfer population. So we have a lot of great surfing beaches. People come from all over to surf here. Interestingly enough, winter is the best time to go surfing. So I've heard. I don't surf and I don't do cold. So that's a hard no for me, but apparently a good wetsuit helps with that. One thing you'll notice about living in Nova Scotia is just how quiet it can be. You don't have to leave the city very far before you're in expansive areas of woodland. Communities are very spread out, and there's a lot of crown land and protected land. Nova Scotia is also home to the balsam fir, your classic quintessential Christmas tree, and there are huge expanses of wooded lots. So if you're someone who's looking for peace and quiet and you move to Halifax, you really don't need to go very far out of the city before you get exactly that. It really is a peaceful place to live. Speaking of peaceful, if you're coming from a bigger city, you'll probably think that Halifax is pretty quiet. And while we do have nightlife and different things, the city is not a city that never sleeps. Halifax does sleep. It gets quiet. And that's okay. I kind of like that about Halifax. And the other interesting thing about peaceful living, we're also very friendly people. So often when you're walking down the street or driving, you'll see people wave or say hello, total strangers, which I think is pretty unique to here. People complain about traffic all the time in Halifax. And yes, we do get rush hour traffic, but if you're coming from a big city where you're used to a couple hours of commute, our traffic is like 40 minutes on its worst day. It's really not terrible, but we don't have great transit options. So if you're not living right downtown and working downtown, you're going to need a car. We do have buses, they're not super reliable, and we don't have any other kind of mass transit system, except we do have a ferry system, and a lot of people will commute by ferry between Halifax and Dartmouth. Actually, my partner used to have his daily commute by walking the waterfront, taking a ferry, and going to downtown Dartmouth, and he absolutely loved that commute. What better way to spend a commute than having a peaceful ferry ride with a view of Halifax on the water? Healthcare in Nova Scotia is something you really should be aware of before considering a move to Nova Scotia. We have an aging population and a smaller population, so a smaller tax base. So it puts a lot of pressure on the province to fund our healthcare system. We have a big lack of family doctors. So a lot of people are on a waiting list for a family doctor. And if you're lucky to get one, that's amazing for you. But even still, having a family doctor, if you need a surgery or a specialist, you can often wait weeks, months, even years to see the right people. In lieu of a family doctor, a lot of people will leverage walk-in clinics, the emergency room, or the Maple healthcare app, which is funded in part by our province. So you get it for free if you don't have a family doctor, but it's still not as great as having a doctor. But we're working on it. Halifax has a massive new hospital project underway, and they're working through all kinds of programs to reduce the wait list for doctors. So it's in progress, but you should be aware. Another thing people get surprised by are the taxes here. We have higher property taxes, higher income taxes, and higher HST than almost every other province. And that's largely due to a smaller population, aging infrastructure, and the need to upgrade that infrastructure. So people often find that they have less money after taxes at the end of the day by living here. I like to think that the lifestyle here makes up for it, but it is something that you should be aware of. This is an interesting one, and I don't know if other places do this, but in Nova Scotia, we provide directions by saying how long it's going to take to get there in terms of hours than actual distance in kilometers. So for example, if I'm saying I'm going to Bridgewater, I won't say it's 100 kilometers away. I'm going to say it's an hour's drive away. And in addition to that, we love to use landmarks to provide directions. So if you ask someone, where is this? They're going to tell you, oh, take a right at this place and then take a left at this place. But what they're going to do is they're going to tell you the old name of the business that was there 20 years ago. And so when you get there, you're going to have no idea. Like, take a left at the Sobeys. Sobeys doesn't exist there anymore. It's some other store. So good luck actually getting somewhere. Use your phone, use maps. Halifax feels very safe. And of course, we have our own violence and crime, but by and large, it's a very safe place to live. There are a lot of communities where people wouldn't even lock their doors because they just feel like they don't need to. Me, especially as a gay man, I feel very safe walking around downtown Halifax. Of course, there are a few areas that I probably wouldn't go at late times of night, but that's any city. By and large, you're gonna feel very safe here. We love a farmer's market here. Almost every community has its own little market where you can go buy your fruits and vegetables and whatever for the week. And that's a really big part of our kind of everyday life here. Another really unique thing that you might not know about Nova Scotia is we have a thriving wine industry. So in the Annapolis Valley, which is situated between North Mountain and South Mountain, is a thriving wine industry. And you can take tours from Halifax, or you can go and stay in the Wolfville area and go to all the different wineries. It's really fun. Even though Halifax is a small city, it's a super well-connected city. We have a really big seaport that imports a lot of the goods that you would get across Canada. We're also a major importer for cars, so we've got a big car port here. And then our airport is really well connected, and they're adding so many new flights all the time. We've got a ton of direct flights to Europe, to the US, to the Caribbean. So a small city, but super well connected and easy to travel from. Halifax offers a really unique balance. We have fantastic restaurants and a great little downtown with nightlife, but we also have really great beaches and good access to nature, and overall a nice kind of balanced way of life here. If this sounds like the kind of place that you want to live, I love helping people move to Halifax. It's one of my favorite type of client to work with. So I would love to talk to you about what that looks like and the whole process of getting integrated into Halifax. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe so you can see more of this type of content, and I'll see you in the next video.